Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box after the show has rendered. If you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. In a moment, I'm going to transition across, as we do have Arwin waiting in the wings to make an introduction. But before I do, please share the show, as sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. And with that, I'll say my first introduction. How are you doing, Arwin? Good to have you here.
Yeah, good morning, Nathan.
Good morning.
Got lucky. I got called out of my bed. You do these hangouts really early these days.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like a little bit early for me even. So
Fair enough. Good for the Australians, though.
yeah, I guess it is, and other Asians as well. But
you got chatting offline, so I understand with Was the guy, the Glober that was on chatting with you, debating with you a couple of days ago. But you got a bit friendly with him offline now, is that right?
Yeah. He contacted me on Skype, and he is an awesome guy. He is a real American trucker, and I actually got to know him pretty well. He is a great guy. He's not a nasty basement dweller idiot like most of the Globers here. He's a really great guy that just believes in the globe, and he is doing very genuine research. And we got to talk yesterday over Skype about a lot of things. I told him a lot of personal things about myself, and he was very polite and nice. And yeah, he's going to interview me through Skype and then put that on YouTube on his channel somewhere. I think probably next week or something, and it's going to be very interesting. So looking forward to that. He's a great guy. Yeah, we got into a big time fight back then, but
Good morning.
Good morning, Spurs.
Nice to see you.
hello.
You're right, Armin.
Hey man. So
Carry on.
yeah. Haha. There's definitely gonna be some spells today. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have taken note of my my recent postings in the Master Bader Skype chat, because I think I made some pretty heavy discoveries, realizations rather, about the rectangular looping Earth, and I think that I found the final puzzle piece that makes it all fit. Still have to do a video about that someday. Have you read it, Nathan?
Yes, I've been paying attention to your masturbators posts. Sorry, I was on mute.
Right. Yeah. So I basically, during my last hangout, I was theorizing about how it could work, all that stuff. And then I figured out, like, yeah, if it's looping east to west and potentially north to south, then it might actually also be looping up to down. And then, yeah, a lot of things start to make sense. Well, make sense is kind of a big word, I guess, especially for globe heads here, but the as so above, so below starts to make literal sense, among others. And it also starts to make a lot more sense for me why the very Orthodox Jews wear black cubes on their head and hands or whatever that is. Why they are cubes? Because if it's basically a holographically confined space in all directions, then yeah, you could definitely represent that as a cube. So yeah, all that stuff just suddenly sank in, and also the possibilities. What could Operation Fishbowl be? Well, probably just the glazing of the bottom of our Earth above us. Probably to seal leaks or make it impossible to get through the bottom somehow. I don't know. Suddenly, all these possibilities opened up in my mind, and it's fascinating. And I want to talk about it some more with individuals over Skype, preferably before I actually start to make a hangout about it. But I will eventually end up making a hangout about it. So, yeah,
Cool. Look forward to that.
I kind of do I too. Oh, yeah, and I saw a movie yesterday, which was amazing. Have you ever heard of the 1993 Fearless movie? And it's not the Jet Li version, because I thought that was the only one that existed. Have you ever seen the other one? It's with Jeff Bridges.
What's it called again?
Fearless. It's almost like a forgotten movie,
Does
and
ring a
it
bell.
is amazing. It is absolutely astounding, that movie. It's called Fearless 1993, starring Jeff Bridges. It's basically about a plane crash and the psychological impact of that on these people. And it is one of the most impressive pieces of acting I've ever seen. And it's just amazing that I'm 37, almost 38, and I never saw that. It's just wow.
They all got saved though, right? GPS saved them in the end, yeah?
No. No.
No.
No, it's much more interesting than that. It's not really a flat earth related subject. It's very much about psychology, about how he was basically in that crash, uh, preparing for his own death, and he accepted it so well that he basically in his mind died, and he lost all fear because of it. It is just a very interesting movie. I recommend it everyone to watch it. It is very well acted. It's a great piece. Probably among the best movies I've ever seen. It is drama though. It is not science fiction or anything like that. So
Cool.
yeah, Fearless, 1993, starring Jeff Bridges. That's it.
So Scott Veach in the chat is asking, will we address Rumpus? Yes, absolutely. Rumpus deserves a lot of credit and you will get it.
All right.
Oh. Yeah, I'm going to be on mute a lot. My kid's making quite a lot of noise, so
Yeah,
chat amongst yourselves.
Skimo is on mute too. I was wondering if he might have something to say, or is he just waiting to pounce on the first glober that comes in here?
Maybe. You got much to say, Spurs? Just wait until the debate kicks in. You might be AFK. I've been listening to
unfortunately,
Spurs.
I'm not one for gossip, dealing with the facts. So yeah, if somebody wants to bring up a point, then I would definitely address it.
Gossip.
I was listening to you yesterday in Discord, and you know, I found myself thinking comments that I've had said to me, which is, how do you do it? How do you put up with all their abuse?
I think it's just a sign for it's telling for me. I don't look at it as abuse because in any discussion, you know, as Jem tries to put it around the table, you wouldn't be abusive to someone who's just trying to discuss, conversate, and that's where it gets to. You got people like Lewis who just can't help themselves but be rude and obtrusive. So for me, the message is more important than saying me. They try to make it about the individual, so they'll attack you, and they'll attack Pete, his character. They'll attack anyone that says anything but other than the subject. So yeah, I suppose a lot of people would find that difficult But for me, the truth is more important.
It's like war. We are airplane pilots. We are the risk takers. We are actually going there. People on the ground back home, they're watching it and they're trembling in fear. My God, how dare they? And we are getting all the flack. And when we're getting all the flack, you know we're over the target. That's how I see it. You just get used to it. And you need to get used to it if you actually want to achieve something. And that's in all regions, not just Flat Earth. The same goes for the InfoWars region and that stuff. There are nasty people everywhere, wherever it really matters, to get in your way.
I mean, just for example, the video that I've posted, there's been numerous explanations, none of them making any sense. So we've even had ballers in dispute about what we are seeing. So again, for me, that's telling. It's showing that there isn't really a solid. Nobody can really understand it, and they're just taking their best shot, basically. So like I say, I just listen to what people have to say, how they say it, and if it makes sense, if it resonates, then I'm going to go with it. But if I'm going to get responses that are different to one another, how do I know what to go with? Yeah, it looks like that they're just trying to give me an answer and say pick one, choose which you think is the right answer. You've had an explanation from this guy, you've had an explanation from him, you've had an answer. That's basically what I've been told. You've had an answer, and you should choose what you think is the best one. So I'm just going to go with what I see. I mean, the guy who ever made the video, none of them ever have explained it. It's taken the community to try and explain it. So again, that is very telling. It's very telling.
Hello, Alan B. How you doing? You going to snipe us all today?
Hello, good morning.
You're not going to snipe us today, are you, Alan? You can stay if you're going to promise
Please
you
turn
don't
off your
snipe.
volume on the. You have the Hangout volume open. It's echoing.
I've closed it now, Arwin. Thank you very much.
All right.
How are we doing, boys? Oh,
Very well, Alan. Very well.
Great.
Bit early for me, but
Yes, it's very early for wizards, Arwin.
well, some wizards are early wizards, some are night wizards.
Yes, I watched your hangout. Very, very interesting.
All right. Well, thanks for watching.
You seem happier these days.
Yes, I am. I've been through a lot of personal transformation.
Is that down to the toothpaste and the magic powder you've got?
Magic. No, it's herbalism. That's actually a real thing. It's scientifically provable that works. So yeah, it did definitely help. Although that toothpaste not so much, but the Alpha Power did help me a lot. But it's also been a gradual process over the years. That because the way I got into this location here was
Oh,
basically by divorcing my ex, and that was a very painful thing for me. That I had to take a long time to get over.
and how much does that cost? Out of interest,
What?
the magic powder.
It's not magic power. It's Alpha Power, and it's herbalism. It's herbalism science. So you're not gonna smear it with your trying to make it.
No, I'm not smearing it. I just don't understand it.
Alpha Power. It is in the InfoWars store. You can get it for full price at 60 euros. I got it at 30 because I usually buy stuff when it's at 50% discount. Although I will always have to pay shipping for over 20 euros every time. So it's quite an investment for me, but this
Yes,
was
that's
probably
right.
one of the best investments I ever made. And
Oh, okay. I will look that up.
all right, you do that.
Thank you very much.
I can post the link.
Can you tell us more? Just tell
Check.
us what it is, because I'm still totally in the dark.
Okay, I'll look it up right now. Get it at infowarsstore.com. And support the broadcast. We need your help, Frank.
Hey, Nathan,
Some people know it.
how's the smudge? 108 hours.
108 hours now. Good, good.
That's a lot of time invested.
It is.
You still sure?
No, have you included Rumpus's hours into that?
I wouldn't include Rumpus's hours. There's too many ums and ahs.
Well, no. I mean, I'm going to say it. Rumpus deserves a lot of credit. He's put a lot of work in.
Yes, but 3 hours, 50 minutes is a long time to invest in a smudge or a smear.
Sorry, bear with me. I'm going to go on mute. I can't hear you very much.
Okay. You want me to name the ingredients?
Yes, please, Arwen.
Okay, well, I put a link in the side chat so you can look it up in detail yourself. But what is basically in there is niacin, which is a form of vitamin B. Everything has a very specific function in this. So you can look, read that back. It has niacin, it has zinc, it has LJ100 Eurocoma longifolia root extract, has organic maca root concentrate, it has horny goatweed leaf and stem. Tribulus terrestris fruit.
Horny goat?
Yes, horny goatweed. Yeah.
That's rather funny.
Yeah, it is funny, and it is real.
Horny goat?
Yeah, it's horny goatweed. It's a Chinese traditional medicine that is amazing. And how they discovered this this weed was basically by goat herders sending the goats up the hill. And when the goats ate from certain plants, they became extremely fertile. Yeah, and that's how they
so funny.
named it horny goatweed. Yeah, I know it sounds really funny, but it is amazing stuff. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It is rather funny though, Arwen, isn't it?
Of course it's funny, but it doesn't mean it's not real.
Is that like a natural Viagra? You think?
No, it's not like that. Viagra is much more symptomatic. It kind of forces your circulation to do that thing. No, horny goatweed is much more it is an aphrodisiac support. What it does is basically stimulate your organs to help produce more testosterone. So it basically starts up the processes in your body that just make you more fertile. It's not. It's a different approach. This is what herbalism does a lot. Normal allopathic medical, the allopathic medical world is all about symptoms, always creating symptoms, fighting symptoms. But herbalism is more holistic in nature. What it does
Right, how you
is
doing? Just checking in.
Hi, Ali. Good to have you.
How you doing, guys?
it focuses on basically on helping your body to function better, to function more in a natural way. So it helps the problem from the bottom up instead of fighting the symptoms top down. And that's typically what most InfoWars products do. That's why I'm very happy with all of them. Very good. I can recommend them to anyone.
Seems rather expensive, though.
Yeah, well,
Does seem
it
expensive,
is
60
among the
euros.
best quality in the world. So yeah, that's going to be somewhat expensive. Still amazingly cheap compared to competitors.
I'm sorry for laughing, but Horny Goat was just too much. He was rather funny.
It's not too much. It's just enough.
Hey, Alan.
Why don't you?
Sorry.
Oh, go on,
You
Nathan.
go ahead. You
go
go
on.
ahead. Oh no, long pause. Everyone's being polite. I was just going to say to Ali, it's not you, Alan. Sorry, said the wrong person's name. Steve got back in touch.
Oh, did he? How's it? Oh, good man. What's happening then?
Well, providing he only got back in touch yesterday, so I got in touch with Chris and Anthony and Ranty, but they're both. Anthony's away at a funeral today, and Ranty's out with his missus or something. Steve's obviously asleep, so sorry, Chris is obviously asleep. So once I've got in touch with them, I've got a date, hopefully next Sunday. So hopefully next Sunday.
Right.
But I've just got to arrange with the other three, so it's not just as simple as me saying, yeah, Steve, sure, I'll be on, because it's not me. It's the four of us. But hopefully, with a bit of luck, we'll get we'll be on Steve McRae's channel next Sunday, so a week yesterday.
Oh well, he did say to me, Nathan, he'd be very interested in it. He always likes now. He doesn't like to do too much flat Earth, but he does like to do it now and again. And I think, well, actually, like if you're going to get tested, you get tested. You're getting tested with people that actually, you know, they're all very, you know, a lot of them are very highly educated.
Sure. Well, that's exactly what I wanted. You know, if we're going to take,
yeah, well, exactly. Well, you'll get a discussion, but obviously you're going to get, you know, after the presentation, you'll get put through the grill or whatever. But that's to be expected. But I think he's always treated me nice when I've went there. You know, we've had discussions, but he's always been quite respectful, I think.
Yeah, I watched your show, the one that you recommended. That obviously you were on it, but it was Ali B, the teacher, or something like that. I watched that and shared that with Chris last night, and it is in that respect, it's quite a similar platform to this in sort of how they go about things.
Well, that was a good example, actually, Nathan, because if you noticed, there was one guy on there kept getting triggered, kind of thing. You know, it's, you know, well, that's the nature of the flat Earth, though. You know, people get triggered, but it wasn't. But I thought he was, you know, it was the first time. That was the first time he actually, I think I was actually on talking about the flat Earth. So, but ever since then, I've been on, I think, once more, and he's always been respectful, kind of thing. It's yeah, I think it'll be great. I think you'll have a great time. You might even, you know, pick up some subscribers or anything, because your style and his style interviewing they're very good. They're very good. That's why I thought, you know, maybe you get in contact with him.
Yeah, I like Steve. I mean, I see him as a very smart guy. I definitely see him as my intellectual superior. So it's one of those. It's sort of challenging yourself to go in front of people that you think are going to be a task or a handful in terms of putting your arguments forward. But that said, while we were discussing it, the evidence that we had wasn't as strong as it is now. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to leave this for Chris to do. But thanks to Rumpus, things have moved on. Things have stepped up a notch. I really want to say it, but it's not my place to. But it's, you know, I'm going to give Rumpus so much kudos once the appropriate time comes, and the other guys are here to explain why things have now stepped up in terms of what this proof can be used for. So it's good news. I mean, Rumpus has got a win, I'm not going to lie, and he's going to get credit for it. You know, I'm going to give him big props because he's worked very, very hard. And, you know, he's gone out and he's gone for the big guns, or whatever you want to call it. He's gone for the big prize. So while people like Sly and various others have stuck in the north end of the island, we've been saying, you know, go and debunk this lighthouse at 51 miles. And Rumpus, to his credit, that's exactly what he's done. He's gone for that. And that's pretty much what he's done. You know, he's going to a certain extent, have debunked a lot of the claims that we have made in regards to Ireland. And for that, he's going to get a lot of props. But what's actually happened as a consequence is it's moved the proof on. And how it's moved on will be explained in due time, maybe today, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Depends on when Chris is awake. But yeah, he'll present how his model has now been drastically improved in terms of flat Earth. So up until now, Chris's place in this has been to show how the globe Earth model fails. And he's done that admirably. But now we're in a position where Chris can actually show... No. I just nearly let the cat out of the bag. I'll leave it for Chris. Chris will explain it. So, but good news, flat Earthers will be pleased.
That sounds really interesting, because when I was watching the presentation, I was noticing things that he was getting wrong, but right as well, you know. But some of the stuff he was getting wrong, I just thought his attitude was, you know, you've got to love the guy, putting a lot of work. But I did take offence to the fact that the remarks that he made about Chris. Right now, Chris done a 3D wire model, right, and all this kind of stuff, and blah blah, and, you know, done all that. I mean, that takes hours. Anybody that's worked with these programs program and a video man takes hours, so you better understand it. This guy, the work that guy Chris put into it. And for Rumpus to slag it off and then
Oh, come on now, Ali.
present drawings,
Ali.
and pictures and stuff like that. But as I say, it was quite, what is it?
Go on, Alan. What were you going to say?
It was still CGI, though. You guys don't believe that, do you? So.
Well, that's no. See, you're presuming. Don't.
I believe in Captain Kirk.
Don't.
Hey, Owen.
Don't label me with all the.
Instead of eating the ground-on horn, why not just strap the horn straight on?
I don't need it. I already got a horn of my own.
Very funny.
All right, so can I answer what you said there? Don't label me along with this is a problem. The ball earthers are putting everybody. If you're a flat earther, you believe in God. Sorry, I've never mentioned anything about God. About you don't believe in satellites. So you don't. There's some force, but I don't. The way that it's explained. So yous have got a problem that you stigmatize everybody, or you put everybody under the same level. We're all different. We're very different people. We believe in all sorts of different things, and we all have different theories. So when to make a statement that,
You're breaking up, Ali.
we got it wrong, mate.
Your connection's really bad.
Yeah,
It's fine. We're missing 10%, but it's fine. We can still make out what he's saying. Don't worry, Ali.
I was finished there anyway. But just the part about Rumpus, I just want to say again about Rumpus just slagging that guy off after all the work, and then he turns round.
Hello, Renee. How you doing?
Hello.
Good to have you. Yeah, I mean, it seems that's the name of the game. People do exactly that, but it doesn't. That, to be honest, goes in one ear and out the other. I'm more interested in what he presents and whether he does a good job, and he has. So, I can completely ignore all of the criticisms of Chris, because ultimately his work stands up to scrutiny, and that's really all that matters. He's put the time in, he's put the effort in, he's shown his research. He takes a little bit of time to actually explain what he's saying, but so what? I like Rumpus.
Nathan.
Yeah?
Could you do a favor for me?
I can.
I would like you to play a clip from one of your previous debates.
You can play it if you want to.
No, I would like you to play it.
Okay, I'm running a show, so if you want to play it, you can.
One moment. I'll see if I can do this. I'm a little... Just got down. Yeah, share.
I just presented.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, Owen, do you mix that with any other potions? Do you just use that powder?
Can we come to this in a second, Alan? Sorry, can we just see what
Let's
Randy's got to
play
say?
I don't like the way you're basically wording this. You're trying to make fun of it.
No, I'm just inquiring.
I don't mix it with anything. It's just pills. I do take other products at time when I have them, but it's not something you need every day. This is basically, I think this whole the alpha power is a cure. It's like something you do, and then when you got it, it helps you, and it stays like that, or mostly.
It's just that I saw you with something else. I thought it was toothpaste or something.
Yeah, I don't eat that. I brush my teeth with it.
Ah, okay.
Okay, can we continue?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Yeah. You can see what video it is.
Sure.
Can you hear it?
No. But we can see it.
Can you hear it?
We can't hear it.
Oh, fuck. Then you play it, will you?
As I say, I'm running the show, so I don't share things, because then I lose control of the Hangout. So, unfortunately not.
Yeah, okay, listen. Yesterday you said that this picture here, at the top here, I'll just have to move it. You said that because of parallax, you couldn't use this to identify things down below.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's exactly what he's doing.
Correct.
If you look at the video, he says that this point here is the furthest part of Isle of Man. So he draw a line straight down, and whoopsie, there's the lighthouse.
Correct?
That's exactly what he's doing in the movie.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So why did you say we just agreed yesterday that if you put the lighthouse on this picture up here, on the top picture here, it will turn up around here.
Correct.
Right around the second.
Because of the parallax. That's right, Rennie. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So this is not the lighthouse.
Well, we will disclose that later. It seems to be the case that, yes, Rumpus has done a good job of debunking the lighthouse. Correct.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, there will be humble pie eaten all round later. At least one slice for every member. Correct.
Okay, so you actually changed your mind.
Yeah, Rumpus has proved us wrong.
Okay.
We're still human. We can still make mistakes.
Okay.
Not
No,
as
I'm not going to
many
make any
as Logan.
disclaimers. Rumpus is
that
right.
was
We
not
were
what-
wrong.
what
We
it
will
sounded like
admit
yesterday.
that. We will eat humble pie, and you will also get credit, Renee, because you would have got there eventually. Yes, Rumpus beat you to it, but you were on the same track.
Okay, so when are you gonna have the big reveal?
I don't know about big reveal. It's good news for us. Again, I don't want to explain too many details about
As
why
I
it's
said,
good news
the
for
big
us,
reveal.
but we will reveal all of this and eat humble pie and give Rumpus as much credit as he deserves. I promise. And you. Someone else was in the chat yesterday.
Your
There was a few
explanation.
people that were circling. You got to understand, we're putting this out there to be debunked. It's on a debate channel, so we've literally been saying to people, go for the lighthouse, debunk that, and people have, which is good because it moves the model on. It makes it more accurate. So this is good news.
Okay.
But again, without giving too much away, there was another guy in the chat yesterday that pointed out something that I it made my eyebrows raise anyway, which was the angular size of the lighthouse at Lagness, formerly known as Lagness Lighthouse. It'll now get called.
Now you're talking about angular size.
Yeah.
Listen, I found something interesting yesterday.
Okay, go
I
on.
was trying to one moment. I just have to find it on my drawing.
While you do, I can't remember the guy's chat. I'll have to go back and give him credit. I can't remember his name. If I see him in today's chat, I'll give him credit today, but I can't remember his name. But he did point out the same thing. He was like, the angular size of Lagness is the same, pretty much, as Morgold, which makes no sense. You know, obviously the inverse square rule still applies. It should be considerably smaller, which made my eyebrows raise. So as soon as he said it in the chat, I was like, good point.
If you look here, I have made some calculations with angular size. This is what we say is the Mohall Lighthouse, right?
Correct. So I'm on mute as well.
Yeah.
So
If you take this block here, that's actually supposed to be 23 meters at the correct distance.
sorry, can you say that just once more?
Yeah, sorry. This block here, I'm moving around, is 23 meters high at that location. I calculated the angular size of how high a 23 meters tower will be at that location. And this is the result. And if you compare these two, they don't exactly match up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but
They're still miles
unfortunately,
lower
it's
than
even
the
getting
Earth.
worse because if you look at the pictures, that's actually below the lighthouse. There's also a small, what do you call? I have no idea. But if you look at pictures of it, there's a small thing, white thing below it. That's about 3 or 5 meters below the tower. That's also white. And this is 28 meters high. So have you ever considered? I know it's completely made up this, but have you ever considered that this is not the lighthouse? It's actually the building above it.
I think we have, yes. Chris certainly did consider that quite a while back. I can't remember the exact conversation, but
And
yes, that has
this
come under
patch up
consideration.
here is a parking lot.
So yeah, again, it's something that I'll run by Chris later, but I'm pretty sure we had discussed it in the past.
But you dismissed it, right?
Sorry, say that once more.
But you have dismissed it.
Yes, I think so.
You're not going.
It may
because
come
you
under
still think it's the
reconsideration, Rene,
lighthouse.
but I think up until now, yes, it has been dismissed.
Yeah, but have you tried to measure the angular size of this, then compared to what it is?
Yes.
And what was your results?
As I say, it was a while back. I don't know off the top of my head, but till I speak to Chris later, I can't remember the exact conversation I had several weeks ago with him about the angular size of Morgold. But yes, it has been discussed.
Okay, and your conclusion was this is the lighthouse itself,
Correct.
and this would be the building.
I don't know about that particular bit. As I say, I can't remember, but I will re-bring it up with Chris when we speak next.
We got a building, white building, above the lighthouse. One moment. Never mind that. You have pictures of it.
Well, yeah, I hope I don't give too much away when I say what I'm about to say, but based on the way the model has now evolved, it is now such that in the 3D wireframe, Chris can literally get the exact elevations of everything on the island, so he can put I don't know how to explain this, but how it works in Blender, there's literally a white line that he can draw and raise up and bring down like a tape measure on the top of the peaks, on the top of the buildings, and get their exact altitude. And the way he phrased it to me yesterday when he was showing me this was, you could use, a surveyor could use this. That was the way he phrased it to me. So again, it's not my model. I'm not the one who's created it, but I've been shown it and it's been demonstrated to me. And as I say, Chris will demonstrate exactly that in terms of especially Morgold Lighthouse, because that's been the main focus, certainly for Chris when he was debunking the globe model on his model. But that model's now moved forward, so that will get represented in a different format now. Because up until now, it's been presented as this is how the globe should work, here's the wall of water, here's how it fails. Whereas, I'm going to have to let the cat out of the bag. Essentially, thanks to Rumpus, the model has now moved on and can now be a representative flat Earth model as opposed to a failing globe model. So this is big news. You can laugh all you like, Alan. That's the reality of what's going to happen. It will get demonstrated.
CGI and models.
So you can actually explain why we're missing a lot of land down here.
Yes.
Nathan,
And
did you
that's
model
not
the
because of the
1,000-foot
water.
wall? Nathan, did you model the 1,000-foot wall?
Yes. Yeah, that's already been done, actually, Alan.
Brilliant.
I don't know why you're laughing. That's already been demonstrated. What are you talking about?
It's just so funny.
Well, okay, let's ask you a couple of questions, Alan.
You're just like NASA.
It's all right. Let's ask you a couple of questions. Assuming that
Is
this is...
this a real voice, Alan? This sounds like you're acting like this. I don't
It's all right.
believe this
I want to
is
ask
really
Alan a
you.
question, see if he knows what he's looking at.
According to Pete Shea, everybody's an actor.
Nobody's here called Pete
You are
Shea.
actually acting this voice. This is not your natural voice.
Just before we move on, though, thank you very much, Rene. That was excellent. As always, thank you for your work. So, just a quick question, Alan. Geographically speaking, how far behind the curvature, how much lower than you is Lagness Lighthouse on the spherical model in feet, roughly?
14 smudges and 2 smears.
Do you know roughly in feet?
No.
How high is the wall of water obscuring the view of of Morgold? Do you know how big that wall is?
According to you, 1,000 feet and 108 hours.
No, 1,000 feet's at the other end of the island. So specifically the lighthouse that's just been shown by Rene, do you know how big the wall of water that blocks your view of that lighthouse is?
21 miles.
That would be a no then, you don't know.
No, I don't. I don't
Okay.
pay that much attention.
No
It all
worries.
seems made up.
Don't seem to know much. No problem.
I'm just wondering which of the Globers you really are, because you sound like you're an acting guy. I'm trying to recognize. Do any of you recognize who Alan is? Because he sounds kind of familiar. Is he like Paul again?
No,
He's
it's
known
just
to do
Alan, isn't it?
acting, voice acting. Right?
Owen,
It's Alan.
Owen. I'm Alan. I'm
It's
from
Alan.
the...
I don't believe you.
Okay.
What's not to believe?
Well,
It says it on his name. It
that's
says it on his
fine.
face. He's got a picture of Alan Bennett, and it says Alan.
I don't believe it's him.
Alan Bennett is a hero of mine. He's a great poet and
Exactly.
playwright. He's also from Leeds.
Yeah, but your voice sounds unnatural. This is not your natural voice.
How old are you, Alan? How old are you?
63.
Yeah, well, you're speaking like you are acting like a woman.
And you're from Leeds?
This is
need for-
how
no
Monty
need.
Python people act like they're women.
Wait a minute,
This is
Alan,
not your normal voice.
Oh, rather.
Yeah,
It's an
you're
Alan
from
Bennett
Leeds,
voice.
Alan.
It's like a
You're
really
from-
common British impression, Alan Bennett. So lots of British people will try and mimic Alan Bennett. It's just the way it goes. It's just a British thing.
Oh, mimic him like this. Nathan and Riley. Riley and
Yeah,
Nathan.
that's good. Yeah,
Riley
exactly.
and Nathan. Nathan and Riley.
Not bad. Not
Riley
bad.
all tired. Rant his face red from buying
I'm
the wrong
tired.
biscuit.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Father was angry because
Yours
he
is better than
invariably
mine.
was. Is that okay? Is that acting, Owen? Do I pass? Do I get the
No,
pass?
I'm just wondering who you are. Are you Tim, or are you Gem Panda, or
No, I'm Alan.
Paul? I'm just wondering who of these actors you are, because they are known to make acts, make characters of themselves, and troll people with them. I'm wondering who you really are.
That's rather hurtful. I was very kind to you earlier.
Yeah, but then you were also ridiculing at the same time.
No, I wasn't.
You're
I was
troll.
just inquiring if.
Yeah, but didn't you call it potion
Boys,
and all that stuff?
Alan, your voice is getting deeper, mate. You're losing your accent.
Exactly.
Oh,
I don't believe you're
this is
genuine.
rather weird.
Yeah, there it comes.
Harry, where are you from? Glasgow?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Nathan,
Me?
They
You think
just
I've got a
lost it.
Scottish
Yeah.
accent? You having me on?
Well, it's difficult to tell. Is he from Glasgow?
No,
Is he from
not
Paisley?
from Glasgow.
Dundee.
West Coast, about 50 miles west of Glasgow.
Ah, rather interesting. I've been there.
could we return to the
past them?
subject?
Yeah, I'm much more inclined to listen to you, Rene. You go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Let's. I
really
just
good.
calculated. It's the hidden value is 336 feet.
So what height have you got the observer at?
50.
50?
Should I put it down?
No, 52
What should I put
I
it
think
at?
it actually is.
I put it at 50 feet.
Yeah, close enough.
And
You've got
the
the-
distance is 31 miles.
So the obscured hidden doesn't reference the question I asked. So the question I asked is, geographically speaking, where, in terms of drop, how far below you is Morgold Lighthouse?
What is the height? What was the focal height of the lighthouse?
I don't know the exact focal height. I think the thing is about 200 feet off the ground total, I think, including its
Yeah, it's
foundations and the ground
238
below, above sea level,
238
something like that.
238. That means that that's about from the top of the water down to the top of the lighthouse should be 100 feet below.
Yeah, I think we
Ah,
worked
well,
it
wait a
out
minute. There's a
yesterday
bit
to
of a
about
dispute
missing.
where-
I think
What-
the
what
So
missing.
let's say it's 150 feet below.
Renee,
think-
one second, just let me explain something. There's a bit of a dispute what focal height means. Now, I'm of the same thoughts as Chris on this. The focal height is the height that, do you know if you get a torch and you shine it in the sky and you see, like, you can actually see the end of the torch, it sort of shines, right? Well, what that means is that's your focal length.
Yeah,
The focal height will
Exactly.
be that. Listen, right, wait a minute. The focal height. Say if a lighthouse is to be seen, whatever, 60 miles away, that'll maybe be the focal length of it, right? Now the focal height is where that image appears to the observer above the water. Height of the lighthouse, because if you focus a light, it makes a beam and it
Yeah.
comes in tighter because they're using that Fresnel lens, right? So you're actually focusing a beam of light out into the distance. And I think, as I say, I agree with Chris saying that the focal height has got nothing to do with the height the lighthouse. It's the actual end product where that light actually converges in a big round circle, or you can see it, and that'll during fog or when it hits the atmosphere.
Exactly. So what Chris has done is he's gone and got the measurements of the ground the lighthouse sits on, and then the height of the building itself, which is what we're looking at, as opposed to the focal height. So he's just gone and got the actual measurements of the building.
It's how high the light beam, right, converges in the distance above. So if that light keeps going, it's aimed to converge at 238 feet above. So it's actually the what do you call it? The lighthouse could be 100 meters higher, but it could still have a focal height of 238 feet. The beam down out to the distance, you understand? So it's not the height of the actual lighthouse. It's not where the lamp is sitting. It's where that beam of light with the actually it comes in.
Yeah.
It doesn't dissipate, right? It's pointed into a certain direction, right? And a certain distance out. And the height that'll see if you were observing that is 238 feet above.
Yeah, I know. But the conclusion is we are not supposed to see the lighthouse.
Correct.
And I will definitely agree on that.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. I mean, when it was in highly contentious mode in the debates, my argument was that, well, number one, if it's the height of the lamp, well, there's more building above that, but we're not going for the top of the building. We can see the bottom of it and the ground beneath it. So when you're plugging in your maths for the focal height, well, we're not trying to bring back the top of the lighthouse. We're trying to bring back the bottom and what's beneath it. So your numbers need to be altered to take that into account.
But atmospheric refraction can.
But you've already conceded anyway, Rennie. You've said we shouldn't see any of it. That's the bottom line here. It's hidden behind about 170 foot of earth wall.
Yeah, but I will also point out that atmospheric refraction can explain it.
Well, no, that's in the calculation, and it doesn't bring back the lighthouse.
No, because the calculations I made are not taking atmospheric refraction as in. It doesn't calculate with that. That's just the raw numbers on a globe without an atmosphere.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, regardless of what you say you can do to bring it back, the reality is that it's not there. So I don't care necessarily about your explanation. You know, we've had endless explanations from people like Rumpus, and those get extrapolated out into seeing your own back of your head through a telescope at altitude within a focal length.
Gotcha.
So while that's an explanation for why we see it when we shouldn't see it, the fact remains that it's not there. It is not there. So while you can start extrapolating out explanations for refraction, what you're basically doing is justifying it being a hologram.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. It's not there. Physically, it's not there. We don't see it. We don't have line of sight. It's not possible to see. It's behind a wall of earth and a massive drop below your feet. It physically is not there, Rene. You've just conceded that. We shouldn't see it. Well, shouldn't see it's one way of phrasing it. Another way of phrasing it is it isn't there. We can't see it. It's physically impossible to see. Now, beyond that, you can give your explanations for why we do see it, and whether or not the audience accepts slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holograms is up to them. The point is, geographically, it's not there. Geographically, it's not there. It's not only behind a wall of earth curve, it's behind a massive drop below your feet. It's physically beyond the curve. It's not there. We see it. We know we see it. It's in the photo. And you might have an explanation for why we see it. But the reality on your sphere is it is not there.
Well, the lighthouse is somewhere.
Yeah. On a flat plane, we just see it. In your model, you need to explain it with refraction and maths and slightly looming this and non-standard... Hold on, Rene. In our model, it's just there. We just see it. There's no explanation needed whatsoever. In your model, you need to go to slightly looming non-standard refraction in order to bring it back from where it is physically not there. It isn't there. Now, when people say, why do you say it's a hologram? Well, I've just explained in detail. It isn't there. Physically, it's not there. It's a holographic representation of something that's not there. Now, you don't have to like the word hologram. I don't care. The reality is we're looking at something that physically isn't there. That's the reality.
what to say. Yeah, I know. But
I don't believe him either, Rene. It's just 6 pixels.
shut up.
Sorry, Alan, did you want to pipe up and maybe ask about this wall again, so I can point out
We're
to
over
you?
the wall. We're over the wall. We're just looking
No,
at the
we're
lighthouse.
not, Alan. We're not. We're looking
Well,
at a wall
Nathan,
that's
I'm
blocking
looking
our view,
forward
Alan.
to
Clearly,
your
you're one of the people
reel.
that doesn't get this. I get that. You don't get it. Otherwise, you'd have quoted the maths back like Rennie has. Rennie's intellectual and understands the problem. You are not.
Yeah,
Who are you
that's
talking to?
rather rude.
Not rude. I asked you the questions to ascertain whether or not you understood, and you did not. So I'm quite content to point out the fact that you don't understand this back to you without it being in any way insulting.
Well, it is only 6 pixels wide.
Lottie, go
no one gives
away.
a crap what you think in this regard. You've already demonstrated that you don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, keep your opinions to yourself in that regard, Alan. You're just making yourself look stupid.
It's not Alan, it's Lottie.
Nathan, do you have a date and
I'm
time
Lottie.
when you're
Yes,
gonna
you are.
No,
show your new
Go
model?
away.
Go on, Rene, sorry.
Do you have a time and date for your new model?
It's done. It's already done. So as soon as Chris is ready,
Okay.
I'm hoping you'll do it
So
today.
when are you going to show it?
Today, hopefully. If Chris is about later on this afternoon, I'll just fire up another hangout. It's easy for me to do that, and it'll just show what we've got.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day. I have to go now.
Pleasure as always, Rene. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hello. Yeah.
See you around.
Farewell.
Might be a good opportunity for me to do a quick link actually, as we're almost at the 1 hour mark. So let's stick my camera on. So I hope you are enjoying the debate thus far. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box once the video has rendered. If you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules. Please don't swear. If you do, you'll be removed, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. If you've not done so already, please also share the show, as this increases the chances of a more diverse panel. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Right, guys. I've got a question. What about this Spurs chemo thing then? Anybody got any ideas on that?
I have. I think Spurs needs to learn left from right and which way he's facing. He clearly doesn't
stop
understand.
wasting our time, Lottie. You don't have the intellect to be funny.
That's rather rude, Arwin.
It's not
Yeah,
Lottie.
it's true.
Oh, wait a minute, Arwin, don't see that. Don't start.
No need for this. Just let him speak. It doesn't matter if he wants to pretend to be someone else.
That's all. I thought it's no gotchas or anything like this. It's really, I'm genuinely interested
Well,
in the meaning of it, because it's a brain teaser, and it is.
well, it isn't if you understand the way that the moon works and how big America is and the way things traverse around the Earth and the Earth is rotating. It's not that difficult to understand whether you're facing left or whether you're facing right. What Spurs seems to be wanting to do is to create a Isle of Man video, something that will...
Right, no, I think, right, okay, right, listen to this then, right? If I'm facing right, for example, right, yeah, left and right, if I'm facing west, for example, left and right is still left and right, yeah? If I'm facing east, left and right is still left and right. So if I'm looking left and I follow the moon, the left will always be the left and the right will always be the right. So it doesn't matter that, and we're always looking south at the moon, right? So what's happened is the ISS has come in from the right-hand side and it's went left, right? And then Red's rhetoric, which he was looking south, it doesn't matter whether he was looking southeast or southwest, he was looking south, and it came in from his left-hand side. And then the problem with that is, well, you have to think about it. They tried saying field rotation, but that's because the photograph, the film was like 1-2 seconds long. Unless he had tracked it all the way from the east, in his camera and followed it like that, then there would be field rotation, because his camera would be skewed when it got round to looking at the thing. But he didn't do that. He went out, and you can see he's got his camera sat there, and you can see the moon so from left to right. It's fixed, and then a couple of seconds later, the ISS comes up from the bottom left-hand side. Right? Now that's the problem you've got to work. There's only one way that can work in a ball model. Right? Because you're always looking somewhere in America, you'll be looking at the same face. You'll be looking south, and you will only ever see that amount of the moon. You won't see, just on the East Coast, if someone was looking at the moon, they'd be looking at it, say they're looking straight on, now you go all the way across to the other side. If they could see the moon, they would see the exact same picture more around the corner of the moon, right? So they're still looking at the same picture. So
there you got a good point, Ali.
Well, I know I have, because I've thought about this.
It's funny because all the moon heavenly body literalists, they always assume they're balls, but yeah, when you look at a ball
But even on a ball, there's
from
only
different positions, you don't look at the exact same picture.
1 second, now let me finish my point.
Yeah.
The thing is with that, adding on to that the ISS never, ever, ever orbits over the North Pole. It goes up as high as 55 point something degrees, right? Right, now you're getting this. The only way in a ball Earth model that could possibly come from the bottom left-hand side is when it done its great circle down from the edge of the North Pole to the edge of the right. It would have to start coming back again. So it was doing like a fan shape orbit.
Or
If you know what I mean.
if it's facing the other direction.
But it's not. The
Right
thing is,
shoulder,
it's not. This is where
or his left shoulder.
you're
When you stand at a road and traffic goes past,
wait a minute.
you're facing
Yeah, but
one way and then face the other. Does the traffic not go the opposite way?
But the moon is always south, right? This is the thing, right? You're not conceptualizing, you're more into arguing against it rather than actually thinking about this. I've put a lot of thought into it and imagination, used my imagination. How could that possibly happen?
We don't want imagination, we want facts.
And the only conclusion is, logical conclusion is that if it's on a ball, it'll do its circle, and when it gets to 55 degrees south, it'll start moving back up again, right? It'll start moving, and then it'll go back down again because it does not cross the poles, and that's what Spurs gets. And if you can't kind of understand that, it's just a geometric pattern. It's quite easy to do. You can do it with circles. You can draw that, but you'll have a big wide gap. You'll have a big round circle over the poles. It's just like doing straight lines, making a curve. Used to do it in school, drawing straight lines, and you can actually make a curve. Well, it's the same kind of idea. You've got that space in the middle that the line never goes into. So you've got a big round disc over the North Pole, no-go area over the South Pole, no-go area over the North Pole where it orbits. So there's the only way it could possibly come and change from left to right is if once it's done its full circle down to South Pole, as it orbited, it would have to come back on itself and do the same again up to 55 degrees north and then back down again 50 because it's rotating the same way as the Earth. Right, and that's the only way that can happen, as if and that's my thoughts on it anyway. That's what I've kind of come up with. It's the only way on the ball Earth model. So there you are. What do you think?
I think you're wrong, but
Right, let me share my screen then. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Tell me why I'm wrong. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, actually, Ali. That's the first conclusion I came to in order to do what it seems to be doing in those pictures, if you assume they're correct, is for it to go over the North Pole.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way, Nathan. It is. If you look at it, I'm trying to find the... hang on a minute. Let me separate a page. That's it. Right. I'm going to share my screen here now.
Yeah, no
I'll show you
worries.
exactly. And this is their version. Hang on. Application. Oh, hang on.
Guys, I gotta go. It was fun being here
Bye,
the
Arwin.
first hour.
Thank you, Arwin. Good to
Yeah.
have you.
See that?
Yeah, see you later.
You're presenting,
Yeah,
Ali.
see you later, Arwin.
Thanks, Arwin.
Yeah, can you...
Yes.
Right.
Bye, Nathan.
See
See
ya.
you on Skype.
Yeah, bye, Arwin. Yeah.
Alright.
Right, you can see that. So the eye is here and it never crosses underneath. So if it's going this way, Right, it comes this. It's going this way, as we've agreed.
Hi, Ali. I can't see anything.
No, okay. Hang
Are you
on.
presenting?
Yeah, I thought I was. Hang on.
Yeah, you are. Just click on his face, Alan.
Yeah, click on my icon kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay. So here we go, right? So now we know that the ISS is coming in that way. Agreed. Right, now what happens is for this to work here, right? So it has to come round like this. There's the next line of the great circle. There's the next line of the great circle. It can never have a crossover here. You understand? So it's going round. It can't ever go round like it has to cross over this. So at no point, and if it rotates, wait a minute.
Ali,
If it
Ali,
rotates, listen, if it rotates with the Earth, it can only ever go that way.
where's the moon's position on that diagram?
We are the moon. We are the
Does the
moon. Right, listen, we are the moon looking at looking down on reds. We are the moon, right? So, right, and then it goes that way, then it goes that way, then it goes that way, then it begins to straighten out. All these lines are connected at 55 degrees because that's the great circle, right? So then it goes that way, then you've got them coming this way. Look, it's coming in from the right-hand side. The only way it can come in from the left-hand side where you see it on reds is if it goes that way. And that's against the rotation of the Earth. So the only way it can work on a ball is if it actually goes round to this point here, and round from this point here, travel down there to the 55 degrees south, and then travel up again. And that's when you'll see the. Actually, it won't even. Yeah. Then you can see it coming in from the left because it's got to travel up this way. Then, see. But that'll still mean it'll go with the rotation. It's going against the rotation. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. No, it's not that clear. I'm sorry, Ali.
Okay, so the guy from Texas saw it going across that way, from this side to that side. Red's rhetoric saw it go from here across that way. Oh, look, going that way. It's going in the total opposite direction. You understand?
Yes.
Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever, if anybody gets it, doesn't really matter anyway. That's just me putting that out there. Anyway, that's what I see. And that's the ISS orbiting the Earth, right? So the only way, in my opinion, that it can come from the bottom left-hand corner, which is our right here, is if it's orbiting that way. It can't. It's impossible to do it any other way. Impossible. There's Florida. It's going that way across that way. Whereas that guy was going this way. Oops, that guy was going this way, and now it's going that way. Right, south to north, which it can't. It can only do that coming from the right-hand side. It can only do that here. So we go that way, but that means that Reds would see it come from his southwest, right? For it to come in from the southeast, exactly. See? So, well, that's it. I don't know, whatever anybody else thinks. And I heard, I was on Discord the other day, and I was just listening because Spurs is getting hammered, getting called a retard and field rotation. And I mean, if I can work it out, surely these other people are. I notice Red's rhetoric's not made a big deal out of it because he's got it. He kind of went quiet. He was in a hangout the other night there, and they can't explain this because to explain it properly, it has to do exactly what I just said it had to do to orbit, because it never goes over the North Pole. There's no way it can change its position. It can never come in from the southeast if it's rotating with the Earth. End of story. It can come in from the southwest because it's got that angle up and down. From the north to the south, it's got from 55 degrees north to 55 degrees south. But once it gets to 55 degrees south, it has to start moving back up again. And that's when you'll start seeing it coming from the southeast. But there you go. It's quite easy when you picture it. If you put the picture in your head, you go, yeah, it's logical. So it doesn't matter what way you're looking. We're always looking south at the moon. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's one of them, I think, because there's people looking at it from this perspective, i.e. not just taking into account that you're on a globe and that when there's a little anomaly you just ignore it. People are looking at it and using the critical thinking that is required to see a problem.
Yeah, and there's some people that are out there are just arguing for the sake of arguing. They were I've heard like field rotation. Oh, it's because I heard that I am Rick give. I mean, poor Spurs. He's been getting such a hard time, and I had to give him kudos for remaining calm. He was getting called all sorts of names and all this kind of stuff, and I'm sat there. I'm sat there thinking these people are not even looking at it. It's because if they accept this happens, suddenly they're flat earthers or something. I don't know what it is. But some of the language that was getting used towards him was.
Spurs does like to argue, though. Kevin is well known.
But wait a minute. But wait a minute. The thing is though, but he doesn't go.
Hi, Ranty. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Hi, Ranty.
Hiya. Yeah, nice to be here.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ranty.
no, not so bad.
Alan
Right,
B.
back to.
Yes.
Mm.
How are you? Oh, the silent treatment.
All right.
I don't
Is this
like
about-
snipers.
Oh, sorry, Ranty. Sorry, shit.
No, it's fine. Yeah, carry on.
I was just going to say, well, I just feel it needs to be said about Spurs people, but he doesn't go call people, bad names and that. Not that I've heard of. He might have used it, but not to the amount that's getting used against him. And you say he likes to argue. Well, what's wrong with that? Arguing, he likes to find out stuff, and if you want to convince him. This is where I sit, right? If you want to convince me now that I'm living on a ball, you better come up with good evidence. Otherwise, I'm not going to accept it. And your definition of evidence can be totally different. I'm not biased in any. I'm not trying to hang on to any belief or anything like that. As I say, but you better now convince me if I have to go back to believe in the ball again. You better convince me, and at the moment through my research, talking to people, reading papers and documents, these people that are telling us the shape of the earth don't have a clue.
Why are you against education?
I'm not against education at all in the right form.
Well,
Unfortunately,
and which form?
education, there's different, what do you call it, levels of education kind of thing, and that's obvious. The thing is, the school system or school kids, they're out there. They're basically educated to work, right? To get a menial job, to do all the menial jobs, right? Now, if you go into, for example, like eating.
I never did a menial job.
Leaders, wait a minute. Yeah, I know. But listen, overall, I'm talking about there is some people. I had friends that went to my school, secondary school, which I got a bit of. That's another story, right? Not through any fault of my own. I got bad attitude off the teachers only because my brother was a troublemaker. So when I went to every class, I actually, I was pointed out, oh, you are such and such.
So
straight away, the attitude changed. Right, but anyway, so the higher education system, and I had friends that got nine A levels, man. 9 A levels. A guy called my friend Peter Aiken. He came out of the same school I went to, but he applied himself. I didn't, because I didn't feel I was getting encouragement, right? But
did you get 9 A levels?
Overall, we're trained to be consumers and go and pay our taxes, right? Now, on the higher level education, these people are trained
Hey, Derp, how you
to
doing?
become
Is it P? How you
bankers,
doing? Good to have you, P.
Hi, P. Mars. They're educated to become financiers, leaders, government officials, and all this kind of stuff. In a different kind of way, they're given a little bit more knowledge, but they're still brainwashed. Like most of the people that are out there working in these.
What is the purpose of the brainwashing? What is
Well, I tell you what.
Hey, check this out. And
That's it there. P. Mars will explain why.
Yeah, P. Mars is good at this.
In the Scientific Outlook, 1931, written by Bertrand Russell, here's a quote. He says, "In like manner, the scientific rulers will provide one kind of education for ordinary men and women, and another for those who are to become holders of scientific power. Ordinary men and women will be expected to be docile, industrious, punctual, thoughtless, and contented, Of these qualities, probably contentment will be considered the most important. In order to produce it, all researches of psychoanalysis, behavioralism, and biochemistry will be brought into play. All the boys and girls will learn from an early age to be what is called cooperative, i.e., do exactly what everyone is doing. Initiative will be discouraged in these children, and insubordination without being punished will be scientifically trained out of them. I think we can see that that's happened. He even talks about how the 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 scientific elite, or like the leaders of the society, will be encouraged to be adventurous and full of initiative, while ordinary people are, they're basically programmed to be followers.
Yeah, conformists. Good workers and
Yes.
conformists.
But
So
what's,
Yeah, but
what's
I
the
do
end goal of that?
I think even the people that are educated highly, they're also educated to be conformists as well, right? But in a different kind of way. They're still the same.
Ali, they want. It's important that those people are obedient to like the authority, but they're encouraged to kind of also be leaders. They're encouraged to go out, where we're encouraged to just be like followers, obedient slaves, basically.
So P. Mars, how did you slip through the net?
I mean, I don't know.
Obviously, you stand on the outside of those two circles, or in the middle in the Venn diagram. So, how are you different? How did you escape?
I think I was. There's different levels of brainwashing. Like when people are just waking up, there's a lot of traps for them to fall into, and I think I've been endlessly believing in lies and crap. And the one thing that's really helped me to discern the truth is studying propaganda, and what I try and figure out what I've been brainwashed or programmed to think, and the opinions, what my opinions. I try to figure out what opinions are really my own and what have just been indoctrinated into me through things like education or music, movies, television.
What if it's a double bluff, though? What if you're just part of the machine? And
I am. It's like a struggle to, I think, throughout life to figure out who we are. No one really knows, and people are trying to fill that void with crap, like drugs and social media or relationships or various destructive things. But they understand our behavior in biochemistry. And
why do you like Bertrand Russell so much?
He in his books he talks about, because I'm really interested in mass psychology and how people are controlled. Like, you think our society is free and open, but it's actually totalitarian and authoritarian. We're very controlled.
Yes, I can understand the totalitarian theocracy, but Bertrand Russell was homeschooled, correct?
He was highly educated. He's like a part of the elite establishment.
He never actually went through the system that he was criticizing. So he understood that system from an outsider's point of view.
I don't think he was criticizing it. I think he was one of the intellectual elite who was creating plans for the future on how to control people, and he put a lot of truth in his books. But
how are you discerning that is the truth against everything, all the other evidence?
Well, I mean, he's not the only. There's like a lot of other people. Like Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote "Between Two Ages: America's Role in the Technotronic Era," where he talks about a lot of similar things, and he mentions things like, he wrote this in the 70s, and he mentions things like the internet and modern propaganda techniques to control people's thought and reason. And then Benjamin Bloom, he wrote the Taxonomy of Education. He said the purpose of education is to change the mind, or the thoughts, feelings, and actions of the students. It wasn't about necessarily empowering people with knowledge. It's about changing the thoughts, feelings, and actions of students. It's about indoctrination, propaganda.
You know what
Bertrand-
my feelings are about flat Earth? I think it's the stupid leading the even more stupid, and 99% of the people involved are just bored.
So it's back to
Bored,
this
lonely
holographic
people.
projection then, Alan. So do you think it's stupid to assume that we can just see something we see in a photograph, as opposed to assuming that it's not there and that it's a projection?
Do you see something we see in a photograph?
Yes, so the thing in the photograph is not there on the sphere model you think you live on. It's physically not there. We don't have line of sight with it. It's beyond the curve, and there's a wall of water in the way. So
Well,
we can't see it, that's a fact. But it's
In
there
your
in the photograph.
we can't see much of anything.
But no,
to
we
be
can.
honest.
We see it, it's there, it's agreed upon. We see Morgold Lighthouse.
No, it isn't. It's not
Yes.
agreed upon
Yes, it is.
at all.
Yes, it is.
You've agreed, you've decided, and you have invested.
I think you'll find it was actually Gem Panda that initially identified it, and all sides, including the people who understand it, and like yourself, like Renee, also agree.
Now, I can be different and not agree. I'm like P.
You
Mars.
don't have to agree.
And
You don't
as much
have
as
to.
I love the
It's not,
panda,
not necessary for you to agree.
I just think you're wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But the
108
stupid people
hours.
presenting their opinions who don't understand the problem don't really hold much weight with me
Could
and
be
any of the
reading
audience.
your daughter a book. 108 hours.
That's
Yeah, so what?
a subjective view, though. You've got to understand that's your opinion. That's a subjective view.
No,
I
Ali,
don't.
Ali,
I
Ali,
don't.
Ali,
I
Ali,
don't-
Ali,
it's
Ali,
a subject.
Ali, 108 hours is a fact. You can go back and watch all the videos.
The
But so
statement you
what?
made a waste of time. You said a waste of. You're looking at it from the ball earth point. Wait a minute. You're looking at it from the ball earth point of view, but from the flat earth point of view, it was time. That's what I say it was, and it was very interesting traveling through this and watching this because it turned into a. It's not from the flat earthers' point of view, but it turned into a bit of a circus from the people that worship the sun.
No, I don't know that. For me,
You could agree. Listen. There's no logical conclusion. Otherwise, it's someone who's people have been discussing when they call other people bad names and stuff like that. You can't defend that kind of behaviour. Not even if the other person does it or he done it. Well, that tells me psychologically that's an immaturity to use it. That's what a kid says. Oh, well, they done it or he done it. And flat
isn't that just what your boys do?
flat earthers, let me just finish, and flat earthers are guilty of the same kind of thing. There is hypocrisy, I agree with that, but for either side to start giving moral standards and stuff like that's a joke. Right? And you have to agree with that.
Well,
it's just banter. I don't think it's a big deal.
No, I don't
I'm
think
not
so.
rude to anyone. So there you go.
Yeah, right, okay. So you're an exception. You're not actually an exception to the rule. It's the minority that give the majority a bad name. You have to remember that. It's the same.
They're just young boys being playful.
Don't you think people are too sensitive these days and we need to have some thick skin?
I'm talking about grown men. I'm talking about grown men. No, P-Man.
Well, Ali, you could say after show 76, Nathan got quite angry. Something changed. Nathan got quite angry. Everybody stopped coming on.
Yeah, but the whole point of a conversation is to learn something, isn't it? It's not really to call someone to come from an adversarial position. That's not very
Hi, Jazz
logical.
Conda. How you doing? Good to have
That's
you.
not.
Can you hear us, Jazz?
Logically, to me,
Hold on a second, Ali. Sorry, bear with me a sec. Ali, bear with me. How you doing, Jazz?
Yep.
Can you hear us?
I've seen Jazz in the chat. I'm pretty sure that's him.
I'm pretty sure, but
yeah,
I just want to make sure we can hear him.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Excellent. Good to have you here.
So Ali, what happened after show 76? What changed? Why did everybody stop coming?
I can have a slab at that if you like, Alan. I've just explained this to you in simplest terms.
Nathan,
What we have
you-
is an example of the Earth not working as a sphere. Things that are physically not there appearing in photographs. Well, that's not very conducive with Earth being a sphere. So lots of people who think it's a sphere got very angry.
So did you, though, Nathan. You were quite
Yeah, I
rude
got
to
annoyed
all-
with people denying that they were seeing holographic representations of things that were not there and telling me that I was a hologram fantasist, when my claim is simple. We
I don't
see
think
it
you
because it's
understand what
there.
a hologram is.
That's my simple claim, which was frustrating, to be labelled a hologram fantasist, when in reality it's you globers who are seeing things that are not there.
Yes, but the question was, what changed after show 76? Why did everybody leave? Why did you get so
I've just
angry?
explained it to you, Alan. In your model, you are a fantasist if you want to say that you can see that lighthouse. Do you understand that? It's not there. So you
No,
have
I'm
to
not talking
become a
about the lighthouse, I'm
fantasist.
talking
You have
about
to give
you.
explanations
What
about
changed
bending
with
light,
you?
bringing things back that aren't there. Your explanations are fantasy, and lots of people haven't liked me pointing out that all of their maths and science still has to only be used to explain why something that is physically not there is being seen. People don't like that, Alan. People don't like their model being made to look stupid. That's unfortunate for them, but that's just the way it goes. When people hear things they don't like, they decide that they'd rather boycott. Some people step up, like Rumpus.
Well, no, you still not answer the question. Your style changed.
In what way did it change, Alan? In what way? Be specific.
He was ridiculing people with speech impediments.
Rumpus
He
hasn't
was
got a speech
shouting-
impediment.
He was shouting
Rumpus
moron.
hasn't got a speech impediment. He just stuttered when he was cornered.
Stop making fun of me, guys.
His position as a moderator changed to an FE defender, so to speak.
Well, I don't actually see. I never actually see. I just saw and it wasn't after number 77 anyway, right? It changed after. Changing Nathan was he was being a bit more assertive from people trying to interrupt and keep the conversation on point. Is what are good. Is what are.
But me and you, Ali, have been talking about people being rude on both sides, and one of the key issues, as I saw it, was Nathan was involved in that as well. And
I can't argue. I'm not saying.
Can I come in as a globe earther, just sitting on the fence?
Go ahead,
just
Jazz.
on the sidelines.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't think Alan.
I'd rather be Alan.
Tally ho. No, and that's all well and good, and I love the character, and that's all great. But coming on such a subject is everyone needs to come in from both angles at the same diagonal, and we have to all come together as one.
Yes, but surely the host must understand that and not be rude to people, to not ridicule them, to not call them a moron or an idiot, regardless.
Well, that's very true. I'll put on a South African accent, Alan. Okay, Alan. I understand that you've come from the bottom of South Africa you've made your observations of the southern night skies and stuff like that. And
that's terrible.
That's awful.
Well, it is. It
Never
is terrible.
use that accent
it's
again,
terrible
Jazz.
because
Terrible.
we should all be ourselves, because we're all on this great big.
You're a terrible person.
Go on, who's going to
You're a
make something
terrible
really
person.
poignant and philosophical and all those good things, and you've all cut him off, you sods.
I'm just trying to say that we should be ourselves. We're all here.
Jazz,
on whatever.
Jazz, have you been drinking again?
Yes, Alan.
What have you been drinking tonight?
What have I been drinking tonight?
Yes. I'm drinking tea.
I've had a few late Christmas barbecues to go to. But anyway, that's irrelevant.
Christmas? It's January the 29th.
I know. What we're talking about, though, is etiquette. Are we not?
Sure.
Right. So let's just show our flat Earth compadres, if I can say that, a little bit of etiquette, and we don't have to not be ourselves.
What? That doesn't
Alan,
make sense.
That's beautiful, man.
Alan, you're forming a character.
What character? I'm Alan from Leeds.
You're Alan Turing by the look of your photo.
No, that's
The-
Alan Bennett, the great playwright.
The Enigma code breaker.
No, that's not Alan Turing. Alan Turing didn't wear spectacles. You've had one too many.
People in the chat are being rude to
No, it's
Jazz
not that
Akonda, but I think if they were all wasted, they would understand him perfectly.
And they would. I'd love to be able to see what they're saying because I would tear them one. But anyway, let's get back to the
Let's get back to the book.
Fuck you, Alan Turing.
Hey,
No
language.
swearing. No swearing.
Sorry. Frig you. Anyway, Nathan, take it away. You're the host.
That's all right. We were listening to Alan ignore entirely the criticism of the evidence and the fact that it makes the sphere look silly, and he's gone on to criticising me as a host. That's what's happening here, which is pretty much what happened. And now he's talking over me. This is what happens. So, you know, it's fair enough. I got a bit sick of people like Alan continually talking over me when I tried
fighting
to.
against each other about who's going to feed the kids and who's going to end up with how much in the divorce.
I never had children, Jazz.
So, yeah.
I know you didn't, Alan Turing, because you were a... Anyway, let's carry on.
He's
yeah,
weird.
We were in the middle of Alan criticising me rather than accepting that people don't like the sphere Earth being made to look stupid.
Yeah.
And let's get on with it.
I was.
Let's talk about how much booze you've had, Jazz. Do you like the booze?
How come a woman
And people changing the subjects. That was
had a
another
child
thing that
with
I made a
Nathan,
conscious
but
decision
won't
to
have a
stop
child
people
with
doing.
me?
So at one point there was like this. You get onto a point, a detail, and people will change the subject. So then I get criticised by people like Alan of being rude when I say, no, let's stay on the subject.
You are rude.
Well, that's fair enough.
You are rude, Alan, because you can't stay on the subject and you have to deviate onto things that can give you cause to change the subject to things that have to do about you.
Yes, I learned that from I learned that from Spurs. Just change the subject every sentence. He's brilliant at it.
Even though I don't know what if you're a flat earther or a globe earther, but at this point,
I'm a pensioner from Leeds.
No, I'm just going to call you a mental health patient at this point.
Oh, that's rather rude.
It is, but oh well.
You were talking about being pleasant, and then you come straight in and call me a mental patient. How rude.
Yeah, that was a bad move, Jazz. After that brilliant speech.
So we are coming up on about half an hour left on this debate. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. If you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a link in the info box below this video. And if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link below this video to join and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected. And if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. I'll transition back in a moment. As I say, we have about half an hour left. If you haven't done so already, please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
Someone that follows the flock. Someone that follows the flock. That's it. If you ever see sheep, right? If one's in, the rest will run with it, right? That's
sheep, we're on to sheep now. Sheep.
Yeah.
Arwen with his goats. What kind of debate is this? Emmerdale Farm?
Just answering your question, but how can you debate someone that just attacks everybody? We're not into debating whether a person is a good guy or a bad guy or whatever.
I was trying not to attack anyone.
That's from another channel. I think you're on the wrong panel. Or in the wrong conversation.
How did I attack you?
No, I was actually waiting for Ranty and his evidence. New
Alan
evidence.
Turing. We'll have a talk another night, and we'll talk about how you worked out how the Enigma machine
Hey,
worked.
hey,
That
Jazz,
was awesome.
you buying drinks?
Yeah, man. What do you drink? Bourbon or whiskey?
Port.
Okay, I'll meet you at 7:45. No good. How about 6:45?
Well, I have bingo at 7:45, so
Okay.
8:30 for port and cheese.
How about 7:45 then?
Great.
Don't smoke
Lovely.
any of his funny cigarettes.
Oh, does it smoke
Looking-
as well? How unhealthy.
Looking forward to it.
Alan Bennett's a smoker, isn't he?
No, I've never smoked.
I thought Alan Bennett was, though.
No, he never smoked.
Did he not? Fair enough. I stand
Yeah.
corrected.
Another fact you got wrong.
I did
It's all
phrase
good,
it- I
Alan
did phrase
Turing.
it as a question.
I'll make the final restorations on that Enigma code machine in the morning, and we'll get together for coffee, and
Hey,
I
Jazz.
will.
I doubt you could operate the door to get into the Enigma machine. Can you remember the 4 code? Can you remember that?
Oh shit! What was it?
Stop swearing.
Sorry, it was the numerology terms, 4 numbers that rhyme with jail. Jail.
Fail.
Just joking. You get out of here, son. We'll catch up another day.
Goodbye.
Cheerio.
Just out of interest, if you're there, P, can you hear us? Have you been watching JLB's assessment of the secondary education system recently?
No, I haven't. Oh.
Well worth a look.
Hey, P. How come she can't get a girlfriend?
Because I don't want to vaccinate my children, and I want to homeschool.
That's a weird excuse.
It's hard to find people that are. They think doctors. They're okay. So all these television shows are about doctors and lawyers or like police officers, and those. That's because those are the authority figures that you're going to see most people see in their day-to-day lives, and so that's propaganda techniques. Because
Do you actually think that going outside could make a big difference? You seem to spend all day playing poker.
I go outside sometimes.
How many times a week do you go outside?
I go out every
You
day.
sound lonely.
Yeah, I'm lonely. Well, even if I'm around people, I'm still lonely because I can't really connect.
Do you not fit in?
No, I don't fit in.
No, that's rather sad, isn't it?
I like P. P's my mate. I'd call you my mate P. You're ace. I think you're a great guy.
That's rather worrying. Nathan is a friend.
Yeah, you know the worst.
P's a good guy. I just think he's a genuinely good guy. I know he gets a lot of shit from people. He gets a bad rap, and it's just not necessary. You know, P's a good guy. There's no other words to describe him. The fact that he will confess to doing bad things occasionally, people have leapt all over that like he does it all day, every day, and it's just not true. So P gets a load of crap that he doesn't deserve, and, you know, it annoys me, if I'm honest.
Are you there, Nathan?
It's not you, though, Nathan.
All right, guys, listen, I'm off ski. I'm going to make something to eat now. Take it easy, and
See you
thanks,
later, Ali.
Nathan.
How you doing, Arif?
And,
Good to have you, Ali.
Bye, Ali.
Yep, thanks, Alan. See you later, P. Mars.
Can you hear
Chat
us,
to come
Arif?
back.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, good.
Hey,
Hey, good to have you here.
good to see you.
Thanks again, Ali.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this sidereal day? To me, it seems a little disingenuous to say that the solar day and the sidereal day have anything to do with each other, because they say something like the day is 4 minutes shorter than expected or something. But wouldn't the people that were defining what a day is just say, a day is just, one sunrise to the next? I mean, they didn't have any way to measure things, so why are people assuming that the day that, people arbitrarily defined in the past is off by anything? It's just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I've got to agree with you. I think we should be using the sun and the moon to track our time.
Because it was going a little back and forth saying, basically night and day should flip. But then they kind of redefined the terms and said, well, the day that you think is the day is actually shorter than it actually is. But it wouldn't make any sense at all, because that would be kind of a contradiction, And even if the sidereal day is, a little different, I thought the sidereal day was just the cycle of the constellations. It would be kind of taking it for granted that what's going on with the sun and what's going on with the constellations would be similar anyway. And it kind of comes from an assumption of a ball Earth hurtling through space, where the sun and the constellations are doing something similar. The sun could be doing something totally different than the constellations.
To be fair, though, you think the world has got a lid on.
Well, there's no other logical way to explain one system of pressure being next than another. We can make logical assumptions just like these globers. It's just whose logical assumptions are based off of observable fact, and who has a logic system that you can build on more than the other. Because basically heliocentrists are saying you can have a pressurized system in one area that doesn't need to be covered with the Earth, versus another in experiments where it always has to be covered. They have a contradiction there that doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to say, yeah, MIT describe, I think they are terming the Van Allen belts, but they describe it as a hard and fast layer, like a glass ceiling. So they absolutely define us as being in a closed system. So if you're going to say that they've got a lid on it in the flat Earth model, whichever one Arrow subscribes to, then so do you.
Yeah, and it just seems like these scientists kind of hijack the process and hijack people's thinking and stuff. Like, even with the geological column, that could be evidence of a worldwide flood. But, they just say that it's a geological column. Well, it could be evidence of a flood too. The Van Allen belts. Maybe they're talking about the firmament. Little things like that.
Not. The strange thing is, when I hear your voice, I always visualize you as a beautiful transvestite hairdresser. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well,
Is that true?
But, no. But yeah, I mean, and plus, there's evidence of the firmament with rainbows and stuff like that. How do you have rainbows without a mirror? Then there are chunks of sky glass that fall down on the ground, Libyan glass, maybe even meteorites or pieces of the dome. Let's see if we got this thing about the pieces of the dome here in this video. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Where did I put it?
So you're not a hairdresser then?
No.
What do you do for a living? I'm retired.
Just do clerking, data entry, that sort of thing.
Ah, is that interesting?
It's boring.
How do you retire from working near the bridge?
Are you referring to BP?
Where is my video?
Out there has disappeared. Just like the firmament.
Has he lost his connection? Seems that way.
I think so. He'll be back.
He'll rejoin in a second. Hopefully we'll get to see his video.
Yes, it's rather strange how you visualize people when you hear their voices. I always imagined him to be a beautiful hairdresser, transvestite.
Says a lot, Alan. Says a lot.
I'm not gay. My wife died.
You just think about transvestite hairdressers when you hear a man's voice. Fair enough.
No, well, I used to bump into them in the red light area of Leeds. Rather beautiful creatures. They're all human. They all have the same needs, Nathan.
Sorry about that. Got cut off.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, got cut off there. I was trying to find that video about the blue glass that they found in Africa or wherever.
Blue? Do you say blue glass?
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's a new one. That's a new one on me.
theorized it could be part of the firmament. It's like 80% oxygen and made of like this unknown element or whatever. And it could be, you know, part of the firmament dome.
I mean, the closest thing I've seen to the sky, this is really pie in the sky. I hate doing this, but why the hell not? We're talking about it. Was, I think NASA claimed that they had this material called aerogel, and it's like very, very, very light indeed. And they used it to catch debris from comets. And if you look at it, it looks like a little square building block of the sky. That's the only way I can describe aerogel. Just type in aerogel and look it up and look at the picture. But it's, yeah, it looks just like the sky. Anyway, meaningless drivel, but sorry, had to throw it in.
Nothing new about that.
Yes, Alan, thank you. Hologram
Here we go. I
believing
just
fantasist.
found it. Let's see. Can you see it?
Firmament in the KJV Bible. Yeah, got it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he kind of does a biblical defense for it, but the general principle is the same.
Hey, Nathan, where's Riley?
I think he's at a funeral today.
Oh, dear.
Don't think it's a blood relative, but still, he's at a funeral.
Still, rather sad.
It's a good place to arrange a threesome.
Okay, none of that.
Mate, that's awful, P. Mars.
I did
No wonder
actually
you're
pick up a
lonely.
girl once at a funeral.
Pardon, Nathan?
I said, I
You
did
scored
actually
at the
pick up a girl
funeral?
once at a funeral.
Good grief.
She did have Asperger's syndrome, admittedly.
What's that?
Like a mild form of autism.
And you took advantage?
I think she took advantage of me. I was deeply distraught at the time. Lost a close family member. Nevertheless, I should really rephrase that. I got pulled once at a funeral. That would be a better way to phrase it.
You got pulled off at a funeral?
Pulled, as in somebody...
Oh.
Somebody came up to me and chatted me up and asked me out. At a
Crikey,
funeral.
you lot are weird.
Oh, Nathan.
Well, it's on topic, sort of.
Your
Anyway,
carnal desires at a
let's
funeral.
move back to this blue glass. I'm much more interested in that.
Were you ribbed for her pleasure?
Yes. Anyway, moving on. Are you looking for this picture, Arev?
Yeah, he goes into it toward the end.
Oh, here we go. I've seen a flash of it. Do you want to spin it on a bit just so we can actually see the picture?
Okay, let me fast forward it just a little.
Here we go.
Wow, is that your picture?
No, that's a screenshot of the later part of the video. He goes into it in like a minute.
I was going to say, if that's your picture, I got that rather wrong, didn't I?
No, that's not me. That's some other person.
I do like your voice, though.
Thank you. I had to kind of use my inside voice there. I was a little loud at first when I first started hanging out with you guys. Sorry about that.
So, what are we looking for? Rainbows? Bits of the firmament?
Now this.
Proof of the
Saucepan lid?
crystalline glass firmament.
And what's that?
A piece of the firmament, perchance. It might be a Photoshoppy thing where they kind of just picked a blue stone, but the story is supposedly anecdotal but true.
That looks incredibly like Blue John. Nathan will be familiar with Blue John. In the caves, in the peaks.
Nope. You have to fill me in, I'm afraid, Alan. I am ignorant in that regard.
Oh. Something else you don't know.
There's a huge amount I don't know, Alan. Huge swathes of information that I don't know.
Do you find that disappointing?
I think it's fantastic. Finding out the Earth was flat was the best thing ever because it showed me just how little I knew about where we are.
Does your wife believe the Earth is flat?
She's getting there.
Oh dear. As flat as the biscuits I'm eating. So anyway, you think that is from the saucepan lid of the Earth?
Pretty much.
From a YouTube video?
Yes. From all the lies that they keep on telling us and the stuff that they don't, help us understand.
That's crazy, though. Somebody else puts a video up claiming one thing, and you believe it.
Can't trust these people, so we're left on our own.
So maybe you can answer that question then, Alan. What makes you think it's a sphere? What is it that you have seen? How you doing, Pete Shea? Is that really you?
Yes, how you
Can you
doing,
say a quick hello?
Hello, Peter.
Are you Pete?
Peter the actor is here.
Say hello,
Is
Pete.
that Alan?
Hi, Peter.
Alan? What's wrong with your voice, man?
Nothing's wrong with my voice.
Someone grabbed you by a tender area.
So, Peter, why don't you tell the good people of Flat Earth what your real name is to prove, finally, that you are not an actor?
Oh, yes. Okay, it is Lottie. Lottie asked me that question yesterday. Okay. People are anxious to find out my real legal name, but I don't have a legal name because of what I found out about the legal name fraud. But I've certainly made my family name known before. I'd say,
not your real name.
In terms of a clue, I'm a man of peace, right?
Peter Shea is not your real name, though.
No, I always said that.
Are you still banned from all the local pubs?
Not all of them.
Maybe we could go with Jazz. Jazz likes a drink.
It turns out that I'm a man more sinned against than sinning, right? So that's okay, isn't it? If you try to spread, I'm banned from one pub, for instance, talking about flat Earth.
Why did they ban you?
It just came in and she said, "Sorry, we can't serve you." And I'm going, "Well, what's wrong?" She didn't want to say it. She was a bit embarrassed by it. But
hey, Peter, was her beer flat?
Your beer is flat, man. Or something is flat with you anyway.
I only drink port.
So I pressed her for it anyway, and she said, "It's you've been talking about flat Earth, all in private conversations or whatever as well." But
did you give her the dodo speech?
No. I just said, "Okay." Then I said, "It turns out that the Earth is actually flat." So I just left.
So you just went home and drank your own piss?
Well, maybe you should try some of that, Alan. Right? It might do your voice a whole hell of a lot of good.
There's a reason that urine comes out of your body. Everything in it is not useful. But Pete, drinking 4 pints of urine a day is not healthy, my man.
I've been thinking yesterday, the land of milk and honey. No,
don't go there. Don't go there.
Yes, Peter. I'm afraid that's what it is. And we're all sort of trying to get to the North Pole. Well, the North Pole is within. North Pole is within the land of milk and honey. Hang on to your vital bodily fluids, right? And urine as well is an amazing product.
You're crazy.
I know, man.
Does it make your breath smell?
What's that?
Does it make your breath smell?
No, man. It's not any more than whatever. And
I don't think
this
so. Conversation.
This
is not really very shape of the Earth related. Do we have to have this conversation?
Didn't you?
Well, I didn't.
Didn't you do urine therapy, Nathan? I saw a video once.
Not in that regard. No, my wife experimented with baby urine on her stretch marks, and it got rid of them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Home remedy.
She spent a fortune on bio oil and various coconut butters and all sorts of other things, and nothing got rid of them. And then she used baby urine on my suggestion after speaking to not Pete but someone else on the subject, and she tried that instead, and they went. Simple as that.
I was actually going to suggest that to you, Nathan. You were talking about Eleanor having teething problems, a little bit of her own urine on her.
No, don't do that, Nathan.
well, anyway, forget about it. That's Lottie's way of trying to sort of embarrass me or whatever. But the joke is on us, right? When we're discarding such a valuable product that we produce ourselves. So we got to rethink our way about everything. Can I just say about the firmament? I don't think it's a solid firmament. What I think is happening is we have a extra high frequency in terms of the barrier holding back the waters beyond. So at the boundary, you have, I take it that they're saline waters. That's why we have the oceans, because we had this inundation. But at the boundary, you have this disassociation of the saline waters into fresh waters, which drips through, and then you have the salt, if you will, that's left behind, sodium, and this builds up over time in terms of this fine passable crystal that Aura Dave is shown on his avatar here. And this will account then for me in my brain about these annual meteor showers. So as the sun moves away, it will tend to solidify and crystallize, and then as the sun comes back, it will tend to disturb it and break it up, and we have these showers in Northern Europe and Australia as well, which makes sense. I don't think we get the meteor showers over equatorial swathes. So, yeah. It's all about. I think it's all about rethinking ourselves. We have to come together. We have to come up with a picture ourselves, reactivating our imaginations, and as individuals.
Peter, do you just make this stuff up on the fly?
Tell me something you know that I don't know. Flat Earth related or global.
I know your name's not Peter Shea, and that you're an actor.
You know that?
Yes, I'm wondering why you're here.
Why are you here? Who are you, man? Never heard of you before.
Is that necessary? Do you know everybody in the world?
You've never heard of Alan Bennett?
You're new
Come
here,
on.
right?
You've heard of Alan Bennett.
You should have a bit of humility, but you seem to be sort of, first of all, grabbing your balls and speaking. But you seem to be speaking in the same condescending tone as Lottie is known to.
Who's Lottie? You're obsessed with
her. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Tell us your real name. Go on.
Why would you want to know that?
I'm just interested.
Are you? Well, my given name is Peter. Anyone who doesn't know about the legal name fraud, you should look into it, because it's very pertinent and applies big time to your own view of who you are. Flat Earth. Once you get to Flat Earth, that's fine. You know the generally the shape and nature of your home, but now you have to find out about yourself.
Well, you might, need your name to, dox you or something. You never know. Just, nice, friendly doxing. Just saying.
Yeah, that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
Or rave.
Then you get, the distracting, slightly discrediting elements about, urine. Although some people say that, that stuff is real. Like if you have an allergic reaction, supposedly you can take a little bit of, after the allergic reaction, a little bit of urine, put it under your tongue, and it has all the antibodies your body needs to, help fight the reaction and for you to, get better. So some of the stuff, might be real home remedies, but I guess we'd have to study it. But who knows? And plus, all it is just extra stuff from your body that, your body doesn't need at the time, but your body can reabsorb it as needed. It's full of nutrients, full of all sorts of electrolytes. And the more you drink it, the more filtered it gets. And eventually, after cycling, your own urine with, out any other additions, like during a fast or something, it becomes clear water, and supposedly it smells like coconut water. And they say that most waters in most living systems, including plants and fruits and vegetables, is distilled water anyway. So it's just hyper filtered water after a while.
Excellent. Our bodies don't work at all in the way we were told, of course. And listen, there's people sick, and people have flus left, right, and center. I drink urine regularly. I haven't been sick in the longest of times. I haven't been to a doctor in ages. It is effective. I used to get tonsillitis on a regular basis. Last year, when I felt it sort of coming on again, I took a couple of glasses of urine, and that was the end of that. That's the last time, and it's an approached sort of invading my body or bringing any sickness to me. So It's when you think about it, it's one of the first things, right? As children, it's one of the first things, if not the first thing, we're told to be disgusted by, right?
Yeah.
So this should tell you in itself. We got to go back to the earliest of times and rethink everything.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if we're, I mean, I can't do it myself, but the idea that maybe we're losing lots of needed nutrients unnecessarily, when that we have a natural source right there is kind of a shame. But they say you can do all sorts of things with it, like you can dry it up and make soap out of it because it's got ammonia in it, and if you can tolerate the smell while you're drying it up, you have basically natural soap compound there, and then on top of that, when you dry it up, it makes a powder with nitrates in it, and you got homemade explosives. So it's pretty fascinating. The urine subject or whatever.
I've been listening to you, Orave. You're a great mind of information, I have to say.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to fellow truth seekers.
Yeah, and you're well able to fight your own corner, and I think this is important. But the one thing about Nathan's hangout here and everything that's been found regarding the I Love Man, it's really shown all the bowler actors up for what they are, right? They've come back with nothing. All they have now is the likes of Lottie coming back as Alan here and just, adding nothing generally. They're amusing for a bit, but not too long.
That's not true. Right? That's not true, Pete. Rumpus has stepped up.
Oh.
Stepped up to the plate, Rumpus has. Yeah. Okay, this should be good.
There's been people like Sly who've concentrated on the easy stuff, and we've been saying debunk this lighthouse, and Anthony's been saying, what are these three lights on the south end of the island? And to his credit, Rumpus has come along and done a really good analysis of it, and it's helped us. It's actually progressed what we are doing. Right. So Rumpus is going to get a lot of kudos. He deserves it.
Yeah. Well.
So does Rene. I mean, admittedly, Rene hadn't got there quite yet, but he was on the same track.
That's good. And we gotta test these trolls, try their spirits and stuff, because the troll always has a similar MO. At first they might be nice, but they are always divisive. They always get off topic. Always, a little strange, and it's just you can always tell that spirit of trolling. You got to try the spirits for trying the trolling. And I really do appreciate, you let me, put the video out there, especially in today's atmosphere, with all this godlessness and stuff. You wouldn't even be able to show a video like that because of, its biblical references. People would have this paranoid, psychotic fear of, religious indoctrination. Discerning people, religious, atheist, or not, should be able to take that video, whether or not it's biblical, and just be like, okay, this part of it's true, I can take this or not. And it does, happen to, maybe point to maybe a firmament don't. So it's just nice to, have, be able to put out the information,
Martin Leakey has been doing a lot of information on fabricated history. My own view was, I talk a lot about the dodo and the dodo never existing and representing the changing face of the flat earth, post-destruction, inundation. And the bird itself never existed. And that's why we're given the date 1598 for its discovery. Now, in my own thinking, I have placed everything in our fabricated history beyond that. So I think that the Bible itself was written in 1611. So it's not a book to be taken literally, but it is loaded with truth. And I think this is the way we need to look at it. We need to look at the God for the God within, and separate the allegory from the literal. And this is where we do get lost, is when we do take everything literally. Can I just say, I think just as Nathan has been showing these amazing sunset videos, I talked about this before, it's very simple in one sense. If we can prove that the horizon is beyond 3 miles, right, the whole of the ball theory goes out the window, and every sunset and sunrise proves a flat earth, because of the extended distances we are seeing. So in my own thinking, I've sort of well left the ball behind. You were talking about Rumpus there, Nathan. I mean, Rumpus is Rumpus is just a different sort of section of the trolls. He'll put the intellectual work in. Of course, he'll still be wrong, but he's a little bit more pleasant to deal with than a lot of them. But back last year in Miramar
about
Beach,
30 seconds left, Pete.
Came out, Miramar Beach Islands, about 30 miles off Miramar Beach. And it was pretty much the same process, not as intimate as the analysis that you've done, but
10 seconds,
ultimately the bottom line for the ballers, after they failed in every other manner of debunking the video, they just called mirage. And it's like you're calling them out on, Nathan, and rightly so. I mean, because this is exactly what they're asking us to believe, not to believe our lying eyes.
I'm going to have to cut you off, Pete, because we're running out of time, I'm afraid. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this show. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.